But that attitude was different outside Trump Tower in New York City earlier today. Here's some of Trump's supporters showing they are thrilled about his win. The Democratic Party obviously not so happy, but President Barack Obama says the country must move forward.
We're not Democrats first, we're not Republicans first, we are Americans first.
For the first time since Donald Trump's victory late last night, early this morning, Hillary Clinton spoke publicly about the loss earlier today. While it currently shows she won the popular vote, she publicly conceded the election.
We have seen that our nation is more deeply divided than we thought. But I still believe in America, and I always will. And if you do, then we must accept this result and then look to the future.
Tonight, the presidential election continues to dominate much of the conversation here in the Tri-Cities.
Allie Hines has reaction from both sides of the aisle following a vote that decided the nation's 45th president.
Hillary Clinton said it herself today. The nation is divided. And while Trump was the big winner here in the Tri-Cities, some tonight are saddened, even worried about a Trump presidency. Someone who's excited, Washington County Republican Party Chairman Michael Hartman. He told me today he believes Trump's win can be credited to voters tired of career politicians. But then there's Washington County Democratic Party Chairwoman Nancy Fishman. She says she is worried about a Trump presidency undoing years of work.
The LGBTQ community, and I worry about them, and I worry about people of color, and I worry about people who are, out of the mainstream religion. I just worry about a lot of our rights being taken away.
I certainly hope that everyone will listen to his acceptance speech last night, that they will take him at his word, that we need to unify, that he wants to unify the country, that he wants to serve the country and do what's best for it.
Fishman, who lost her campaign last night for state representative, says Washington County Democrats are getting to work, looking ahead to the next election. Hartman says he hopes Trump keeps his word that he will be a champion for middle-class Americans.
Allie Hines, thank you. We're also hearing from Tennessee's governor about Donald Trump's win last night.
And Governor Bill Haslam says he looks forward to working with the president-elect.
On the national election, we look forward to working with President-elect Trump. As I said yesterday, regardless of who won, we were going to do what I think all good citizens should do, is hope for all success for the new president and for us, because we have such a critical working relationship with the federal government.
Governor Haslam also says he appreciates that Trump wants to give power back to the states. Well, Donald Trump cruised to what some are calling an overwhelming win in Tennessee, and it really was, securing 91 of the state's 95 counties, including those in our region.
Yeah, while Hillary Clinton hung on to a win in the whole state of Virginia, Nate Morbido continues team coverage. He crunched the numbers and learned 61% of voters in Tennessee backed Trump as their presidential pick.
The numbers were even higher in Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia, too. On average, between 70 and 80% of voters around here supported Trump. Roughly 8 out of 10 local voters picked him, up from 4 years ago when Mitt Romney was the Republican candidate. In fact, Trump secured 19,000 more votes than Romney did in our region. Here's the breakdown. More than 228,000 people voted for Trump in our area, compared to just 60,000 or so for Hillary Clinton. Historian Dr. Daryl Carter says voters sent a message last night that almost half the country is angry at the establishment and the elite, that people feel disenfranchised by the American political system, and they're hurting economically. The East Tennessee State University associate professor has also studied race. He believes white resentment and sexism all played factors too.
Not all these people are Trump supporters, but Trump's a vehicle for them through which they can express dissatisfaction and anger.
Clinton carried just 3 local precincts last night, all of them in Johnson City. Regardless who you supported, Dr. Carter says people should accept Trump as, quote, our president, end quote, and try to move forward together, still holding Trump accountable along the way.
Nate, thanks so much. Donald Trump likely will get a lot of help from Congress as he moves into the White House. Republicans won big on Capitol Hill. Some hotly contested Senate races became Republican victories, allowing the GOP to retain control of the House and Senate. But there may be a shakeup in the House. Speaker Paul Ryan has been at odds with Donald Trump throughout the campaign, and some House members have said they may look at a pro-Trump member to challenge Ryan for the Speaker's seat.
Back in the Tri-Cities, current Johnson City Mayor Clayton Stout was defeated in the election and will not return to the commission next term. Voters decided last night Todd Fowler and Joe Wise would join incumbent Ralph Van Brocklen in the 3 open seats. Stout says he's disappointed, but is congratulating the winners.
Johnson City is on the right path. I'm proud of what we've accomplished, and I have no regrets.
The Johnson City Commission must now decide the next mayor. The newly elected commissioners will assume their roles in December. For full election results from races all across Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia, you can log on to our website, wjhl.com. Well, a growing brush fire that trapped 7 firefighters during a rescue last night is now threatening nearby homes.
Yeah, that prompted a harrowing 7-hour rescue to reach crews in the fire zone and a man they were trying to reach. The call came in around 7 last night as the votes were coming in. We learned about what was happening on Mountain View Road. A firefighter received injuries. More than 50 others rushed to their rescue.
Curtis McLeod joins us live in Hawkins County, where tonight that same fast-spreading fire is sparking some new concerns.
Yeah, it is. In fact, that fire threatening several homes here on Bays Mountain. Right now, we are live outside of Goshen Valley Volunteer Fire Department. You'll take a look over my shoulder here. You'll see that this place is very active because firefighters have been coming and going, getting equipment, taking it back up to the mountain where that fire broke out last night. Now, I want to also tell you about one individual who was trapped in that fire, and several firefighters end up getting trapped themselves. We spoke to the man who firefighters worked rescue yesterday. He says that he is very thankful for their help.
It was some major deal getting out of there.
Trapped in a small ditch in the woods behind his Bays Mountain home, Roy Simpson says he nearly lost his life Tuesday evening.
Got down in there and then all of a sudden I couldn't get out.
Roy is no stranger to exploring the mountain woods. He says climbing into ditches was a favorite pastime as a child, but the growing wildfire turned a childhood joy into a nightmare.
I heard people hollering at me and they'd come to save me.
So we've had to go in and try to locate him. Once we located him, he was off the backside. We ended up having like 7 firefighters that got pinned in down on the bottom.
Captain Frank Vaughn with Carter's Valley Volunteer Fire Department says 2 people were injured when they fell, but everyone is okay. Nearly 24 hours later, he and his men, along with the Goshen Valley Volunteer Fire and the Forestry Service, are all back fighting that same fire.
Fire's moved on around, getting close to the structure, so right now we're doing structure protection.
I thank them very much. I never made it out.
Roy Simpson doesn't have any plans of going back into the woods again. He says he's forever grateful that all the members of the team who rescued him are okay. In Hawkins County, Curtis McLeod, News Channel 11. Guys, also tonight, I'll make sure that we were, like we pointed out earlier, there were firefighters coming and going from the fire department here. As to when they will complete their mission with containing that fire, with continuing their back burn, we'll continue to update you as we get more information from those firefighters. But for now, we are live in Hawkins County tonight. Curtis McLeod, News Channel 11 in your corner.
Curtis, thanks.